Hello, everyone. If you're here with me, I would like to see who is on with me today in the chat box. So let's introduce ourselves in the chat box. I'm Ojugo Ajuma, the facilitator, the presenter of this webinar. Okay, so you're welcome. So we'll get down to today's business. Today we are talking about 5 strategies for increasing stakeholder engagement on your projects. Very interesting topic, you may say, because I find a lot of people complain about their stakeholders. They don't know what to do. I tell them the stakeholder isn't your enemy. The stakeholder isn't your enemy, but you must find a way to engage them and manage them. So because of those questions and queries, we decided to come up with this webinar. It will be a 45-minute, 1-hour webinar on 5 strategies for increasing stakeholder engagement on your projects. So who is this webinar for? Who is this webinar for? Anyone that works within a project, you manage a project, anyone interested in understanding project management principles. So let's do a bit of housekeeping. I know it's lunch hour, but then you need to sometimes take out time to gain 1 or 2 things that can move your work forward. Housekeeping, to get the most out of our 1-hour webinar, I want you to take a pen, take some papers, remove every distraction, cut off the noise, your phone, invite your colleagues over. So let's take a poll. Who here has been part of a project, past or present? Type in the chat box. Let's see. I'm heading to my chat box. Let's see who has been part of a project. Okay. Okay, thank you. So a few of us have. I'm sure some people are still coming into the program. We'll take that again if time allows us. My name again is Oju Guajuma. I'm a wife and mom of 2 kids, co-founder at Right Track Consulting for the past 8 years. My roles have been in project management consulting, training, information technology, software implementation, digital marketing, and event management. I'm also a co-author of a lovely book titled A Day in the Life of a Project Manager, alongside other 50 plus project managers across the world. And this book is available on Amazon. Just a little contribution to the project management industry. At Right Track, we help organizations and individuals deliver their projects using project management best practice and also improve their business processes. So what's our agenda today? We have 4 main things. Who is a project manager? Steps to identifying that stakeholder. Who is a project stakeholder? steps to identifying the stakeholder, creating a stakeholder management strategy, then stakeholder engagement strategies. And then we'll look at 5 of these strategies critically. So just a quote from me: poor stakeholder commitment equals to failed project. If your stakeholders aren't committed, you're not engaging them, you don't know what they are up to, they don't know what you're up to, trust me, the project will fail. So a tip is project engagement, and that's the focus of our webinar today. Stakeholders, who are they? People or organizations that are impacted by the project. They are also interested parties in the outcome of a project. Some of them, the project sponsor, the person paying for the project manager, the person managing the project, team members, functional managers, operations managers, vendors. They are all stakeholders. The PMO, the Project Management Office, they're also stakeholders. So let's classify these stakeholders a bit further. We have positive stakeholders, negative stakeholders. So who are these positive stakeholders? They're the people that want to ensure that your projects work. You know, they are supporters. They are project champions. They want anything that would make sure the project works. Who are negative stakeholders? Negative stakeholders are those ones that want to ensure your project crashes. You know, they want to make sure the objectives are not met. So there are different strategies to engaging both the positive ones and the negative ones. Next, we look at stakeholder identification. Identifying all relevant people or organizations impacted by your project. Analyzing and documenting relevant information regarding their interests. You know, what are they interested in your project? Their involvement, their interdependencies, their potential impact on project success. So usually you must sit down with your team members to identify all stakeholders. You know, when you do, you put them into the stakeholder register. So there's a very interesting grid on your right. You know, that grid tries to classify your stakeholders you've identified further. So how do you classify them? On one side, you have the power, whether if the stakeholders have power, you know, is it low power or high power? And on the other hand, interest. What's their interest in your project? Is it low or is it high? So let me say on the left-hand corner, the lower left-hand corner, you've identified low power, low interest stakeholders. What do you do with them? You monitor them. Okay. Then for the high power, low interest, you satisfy them. For the low power, high interest, keep them informed on what is going on in the project. Then for high power, high interest, you manage them. You know, you want to be careful with this category because they can make or mar your project. They can decide, no, we don't want this project to work, you know, and then they make it go bad. So you need to manage them because they have high power to cancel your project and they have high interest. How do I engage my stakeholders? Very important question. You know, they said if you ask the right questions, you get the right answers. So let's look at some of those answers on how to engage them. Five strategies for engaging your stakeholders. First of all, you plan it. Consult early and often. Remember, they are only human. Relationships are key. Compromise. So let's see what we mean. Strategy number one, plan it. So you have this list of stakeholders. You need to plan how to engage them. So let's see a few points. You must document desired and current engagement level for these key stakeholders. You must identify the interrelationship between the stakeholders. Maybe you have 100 of them, but you want to know how are they related to each other. Very important. Then you must decide on stakeholder communication requirements for the current phase of your project. So you may be in initiation. What kind of communication do you need to pass across to these stakeholders? Information to be distributed to these stakeholders. What language will it be in? What format? What quantity of content? And then what level of detail? You know, sometimes you don't need to give a lot of detail to every stakeholder, except the key ones. Those let me go back a bit. Those in the high power, high interest, high power, low interest. You must find a way to communicate to them. Reason for distribution of that information. You know, why are you sharing information? What will be the impact to stakeholder engagement? Time frame and frequency for the distribution of required information to stakeholders. So how often do you want to pass information across to them? Sometimes they may need it daily, some weekly, some may need it monthly. Then you sit down again and develop the stakeholder management plan by analyzing needs, interests, potential impact in order to effectively manage their expectations. So that means you must have stakeholder engagement meetings, you know, design a plan that would enable you have face-to-face contact with them, you know, so that you really know what their needs are, their interests, and, you know, if that interest is not met, the impact to the project. So that's strategy number one. So let's look at strategy number two. Consult early and often. What do we mean? You need to engage as quickly as possible. So for engagement level, you need to gauge, you know, with these stakeholders, what category they fall in. Are they neutral to the project? Are they resistant? Sorry, that's a repetition. Are they supportive? Are they leading? So you want to know, where do they fall in? For instance, if they're neutral, you must find ways to, make them aware of what you're trying to do. And you could find buy-in, by communicating regularly with neutral people. Are they resistant? Find out why they are resistant, why they don't want the project to work. For instance, in my country, Nigeria, there was a period the oil companies in the Niger Delta areas, they had this issue of disposing oil waste, on farmland, on their water bodies, and because these people are mainly farmers and fishermen, they became very upset, and they started attacking staff that work with the oil company. They made sure they kidnapped some, they made sure they destroyed pipelines, several things. But then, these oil companies over time had to think, why are these people resistant? They started holding town hall meetings with them, and later they found that the problem was that these people didn't have any other source of livelihood. So they needed to make available employment. They needed to employ their youths, build roads, build hospitals, build schools, and they moved from resistance to supportive. So it depends on how you engage and how early and often you engage with your stakeholders. Some are also supportive. They want to make sure what you're doing works. So you keep, communicating with these groups as well. Some are also leading. They are so convinced, but they lead others, engage with you on the success of your project. Okay, so let's look at strategy number 3. Remember, your stakeholders are only human. Operate with an awareness of human feelings,
With an awareness of human feelings.
Potential personal agenda. Accept that humans don't always behave in a rational way. They are not always reasonable. They are not always consistent.
They are not always consistent.
They are also not always
predictable.
So you must find a way to still remember the human element in the stakeholder and be patient with them. So that's strategy number 3. Okay. So there we go. We're making progress. Strategy number 4. Relationships are key. It's good to develop relationships with these humans called your stakeholders. Create a roadmap for engaging them. What strategy will work best with this type of stakeholder? For instance, let me say you work in marketing, you're into showcasing your product, you work in that industry, and your stakeholder, for instance, is not an enlightened person per se. They may not understand high language. So the best thing to do with that type of stakeholder is to come down to their level, where they are. In Nigeria, for instance, we have two types of English speakers. People that speak normal English and the ones that speak pidgin English. So you don't want to communicate, in British English to a woman that hears pidgin. She won't make sense out of your advertisement. So stakeholder engagement cuts across several industries. You must understand that these people would only hear pidgin. So you create things that would engage them in pidgin. Then what are their communication needs? Do they need to have several meetings with before they understand what is going on the project? Then what method or medium will be best that suits them? It's just like the millennials in today's world. Let's still use the marketing agency. You must go through the medium that the millennials, come to. If you go to a newspaper to post something for millennials, they won't read it. But then if you go on Facebook, for instance, they will come. So you must find the method and medium that would best suit. How often should you also send information? Should it be weekly, monthly, or even daily? So choose what you want to do. Build a relationship with these people, and then come back and review your strategy. So that was strategy number 4. A relationship with you're communicating with. And communication is a two-way. As you talk, make sure that you also get feedback. So let's look at the last one. Strategy number 5. Compromise. Sometimes people are like, it must be my way or the highway. But that doesn't work with stakeholders. Find the best compromise across a set of stakeholders, diverging priorities. Access the relative importance of stakeholders and then establish a weighted hierarchy. So what do we mean? Look for where you need to compromise and satisfy most of them. So that's strategy number 5. Okay, so there we go. I hope you enjoyed the strategy. So we'll look a little bit at what we do at Right Track Consulting. We started off as a registered organization January 2008, and by October 2009, we had been training groups of project management teams. By September of 2015, we had trained, over 2,000 people in various industries in enhancing project delivery in Nigeria. As at October 2016, we honed a lot of what we do. So we've been offering project management advisory, online training services, project management
Project management
setup,
setup,
project
project
management
management
software
software
licensing,
licensing,
such as
such
Microsoft
as
Project
Microsoft Project
and
and
Primavera.
Primavera.
So we
So
do a
we do
lot
a lot
in the
in the
space
space
of project management,
of project management,
education,
education,
consulting.
consulting.
So thank you
So
so
thank
much
you
for
so
taking
much
out
for taking
time to attend.
to attend.
To contact
To
us, the
contact
details
us, the
are
details
up there.
are up there.
So engage with us. Let's stay
So
connected.
engage with us. Let's stay connected.
We have some offers
We
for
have
you.
some offers for you.
You can request for a stakeholder identification, stroke engagement template
template.
when you send an email
When you
to this
send an
address,
email to this address,
so you can enjoy
so
the
you can
tool
enjoy the
with
tool
your
with
teams.
your team.
We also
We also
offer online and classroom
online and
training, stroke coaching
coaching
in project management for you and your teams. And for being a part of the webinar,
webinar today.
you enjoy 5%
5%
off your purchase
purchase
when you put in the code webinar
webinar
28 10 16.
16.
We'll have the
We'll
record
have the record
up soon, so you can also watch them later and pick up the addresses.
of the address.
Okay, so it's question time, but I would like to discuss this too. What methods are most appropriate in dealing with constant change requests from stakeholders? You know, each time they come, they want you to change this, change that, change, you know, and keep going on and on.
You know, and keep going on and on.
So three main things. Ensure that scope documentation is definitive and clear on what the project will deliver and against what timeline. You want to have a comprehensive document that states clearly the dependencies, assumptions, exclusions of the project. This needs to have been signed off by the project sponsor and maybe a senior member of the client. Then make sure you have a change request log, you know, so that everything they have asked for, you can log it down. I hope that is clear. Then the second question, how honest should the project manager be with regards to reporting issues within the project? On slippages, on budget compliance, and so on. To external stakeholders, you know, clients and the customer. Should you be completely transparent? Let me explain. Being honest, the context, you must explain what has come up. Outline what it is that has resulted in the change, the slippage to the baselines, the increase in cost, and then what the impact will be. And then when you're presenting the problem, make sure that you have a recovery plan to discuss with your stakeholders so that you're not just showing problems, but then you're also showing solutions. So I guess that is it. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. You can also email us questions We'll be happy to engage.
We'll be happy to engage.
Thank you.